Sukihantu and good evening to ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dhamma Dana series brought to you by Buddhist Mahavihara Malaysia. Today's session is also live on TBC and Facebook. Do subscribe to our Facebook for more information. The topic for tonight, we are pleasant to have Bhante Dr. Pemaratana. The topic for tonight is equanimity, the art of staying balanced in life. Just a very brief background on Bhante. Bhante is the head monk for the Pittsburgh Buddhist Center in U.S. He's born in Sri Lanka. He completed his undergraduate studies in Sri Lanka and master degree in NUS Singapore, National University of Singapore, and PhD in regional studies at University of Pittsburgh. While teaching at the University of Pittsburgh as a part-time faculty, he shares the Dharma with many Americans to help them dealing with challenges of modern life today. Without further ado, let's welcome Bhante and start now.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Sukhi Hotu, and wish you all the blessings. And I'm very glad to be with you tonight. And it's in the morning here in the US. And I really appreciate this opportunity. And it has been a while, since I talked to our friends since the last time. But today I'm so glad because it is the Father's Day. It's a good opportunity for me to talk. Give this Dhamma talk on the Father's Day, and we are going to talk about how to stay balanced in life and how we can develop this special quality that we all need, what we call equanimity, or in Pali we call upekka. It's really interesting, important that we discuss this topic on the Father's Day because fathers are supposed to have four great qualities. Well, not only father, actually mother too. Buddha said that mothers and fathers, parents have four sublime virtues, what we call Brahma Viharas, like four sublime virtues: metta, loving kindness; karuna, compassion; mudita, sympathetic joy; and upekka, equanimity. So it's a very appropriate topic for today. And so please feel free to ask your questions or comments. I think in the Facebook you get that opportunity, and our facilitator will help me to read those questions. And you can. So while I'm giving the talk, remember to write your questions, and then we can discuss them at the end. So upekka, equanimity. This although this is a part of the Buddhist virtues, I think this is the kind of topic that we discuss the least. Maybe we talk a lot about compassion. We talk a lot about loving kindness, other qualities. But when it comes to equanimity, we don't find much a discussion on that. But it's a really important quality that we need to pay attention to, that we need to develop. So today, as I mentioned before, parents. We know that parents have a greatest love for children, and Buddha gave parents an important title, and for Buddha said that Brahmati Mata Pitaro, the parents are the Brahmas. Brahmas are the divine beings, and particularly divine beings, the higher realm of divine beings, and beings who have developed great compassion, loving kindness, and develop their mind to a jhanic level, higher level of meditation will be born there. But Buddha said that parents are the Brahmas, and of course that is also related to the belief at the time of the Buddha that many many people during that time believed that if everyone came from the Brahman, everyone came from like creator God Brahma, or Buddha say that parents are the Brahma, and it's a very controversial, very not controversial, but very uh, 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 very uh, not a common statement, brave statement Buddha they made at that time. But at the same time, Buddha meant, what Buddha meant by the term parents are the Brahmas. Is not, of course, the parents are the one who gave us life, this particular life, and but at the same time, they are endowed with four virtues. The four virtues I mentioned before, the Brahma Viharas, and the loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. And of course, we have talked a lot about other qualities, but when it comes to equanimity, and Buddha said that parents have equanimity, or parents supposed to have equanimity with regard to their children. This is a very important virtue that we need to pay attention to. We love our children, we have great compassion for them, we enjoy their success, what we call mudita, we rejoice their happiness. And then at the same time, we should also have equanimity, which is like uh, have a kind of evenness in our mind, uh, and based on children's performance. So maybe children's once the children are grown up and when they are really adults, and how they treat us, or how they look back on us, and we should maintain a state, a balanced state of the mind, because sometimes what in this context equanimity means stay balanced, um, without having much expectations. This is quite difficult for us to do, right? When we love someone, when we have great compassion for someone, and we have certain expectations. And what the Buddha's advice is that we can continue to help, we can wish the best for them, and but we need to understand that things will not happen exactly the way we expected, and because children are also their have their own preferences, their own lifestyles. So therefore, we have to have that equanimity. A kind of we help, and we continue to have our compassion, loving kindness towards them, but but accept that there'll be limitations. There'll be things that happen that we did not wish to happen, and sometimes children may appreciate our help, they may not appreciate our help, they may reach the goals that we expect them to go, they may not reach those goals, and they may have their own different goals. So not having fixed expectation of the results of our help, not having a fixed plan. We can wish well-being towards them, we can guide them, we can show them the direction, but then we have to let go of the fixed expectations, and then stay balanced. That is equanimity. So Buddha said that parents have equanimity, which means that when children are grown up, and then whether they treat us well or not, or whether they reach the goals that we set for them or not, we maintain, we continue our loving kindness towards them, and we will not change. We maintain that kind of evenness in the mind. And so fathers, today particularly Father's Day, I think fathers should take a moment to think about that. Do I have equanimity? Or maybe how far I should have developed my equanimity. And of course, mothers also should think about that. And so this can be applied not only when we treat children. When Buddha talked about loving kindness, he always talked about it in the context of three other sublime virtues, other Brahma Viharas. because the loving kindness itself, cannot sustain, without having equanimity. Because we will keep helping, we keep wishing well-being, we will have this unconditioned well-wishing uh, uh, mind, and then we will continue to help people with compassion. But then we need to understand that people may not, our help may be helpful, but not to the extent that we expect, those help. So therefore, we need to think about, and we need to understand the limitations of our help. So the equanimity is like is a balance, a kind of balance of the mind, kind of evenness of the mind, that is born from wisdom, born from deep understanding, that that deeper understanding of how things work. The equanimity is a kind of wholesome virtue that we can develop based on wisdom, based on deep understanding. So loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy, those things are more active emotions, active wholesome states of the mind. We go out and help, and but equanimity is kind of stability that we develop in our mind, and which is also very important. And actually, without equanimity, we will not able to continue our loving kindness. We will not be able to continue our compassion, because if you don't have equanimity, and we when we help someone and we expect that persons to be better, definitely, right? And that's why we help, and then but they may be better, but not to the extent that we expect them to be. Then in that case, without disappointing ourselves, without giving up helping them, we need to come to a level of equanimity, like evenness of the mind, a balance of the mind with deep understanding, that we can keep helping others. But I think one way, but we need to understand the limitations of our help. So when Buddha talked about equanimity, he talked about different levels of equanimity. The initial, the one level of equanimity is that how we maintain this balance of the mind when we keep helping others, when we, of course, raise our children, and also when we keep helping others, how we can maintain equanimity. That is that in our help, our help may be recognized, our help may be appreciated, maybe our help may not be appreciated, our help may not be recognized, but that's okay. That's okay. And maybe our help can change other people's life. Sometimes it may not change other people's life, but it's still okay. And so the one technique to maintain the how develop equanimity is the deep understanding that everyone is their, yeah, everyone is bound to their karma. Each individual have his or her own karmic tendencies, and so understanding that we can help, but each individual has his or her own karma as the main force in their life. And that will decide what kind of direction that they will go, and how they will manage their life. That doesn't mean that karma is as a fixed thing, or like it's a kind of fate. It definitely, karma can be changed, it can be modified, that's the whole Buddhist teaching. But that can be modified by the individual himself or herself. Others cannot change someone else's karma. So we can help, we can guide, but it's up to the person to change the karma. So therefore, we can continue to help, but have deep understanding that everyone has their own karma. We are not in position to change their karma. They themselves have to change their karma. We can guide them, we can support them, we can help them to understand the teachings of the Buddha, and we can continue to help them, but having deep understanding that ultimately they are bound to their karma. So in other words, we understand the limitation of our help, how much we can really help anyone. And so when we have that deep understanding that everyone is heir to their karma, everyone is bound to their karma, and then we understand that our help is limited all the time, and we will not have fixed expectations of our help, but we will continue to help. That is equanimity in that sense. So we will continue to help, but we have that acceptance in our mind that everyone is bound to their karma. I can assist, I can help, I can guide, but ultimately, it's up to them. And each individual has its own different journeys. We can only assist them, help them, guide them, give our best to them. That's all we can do, but we will not be able to change their whole life. It's up to them to change. So accepting that and even respecting, individual differences, respecting individual journey is very important. And then only we can continue to help. Otherwise, we'll be disappointed, frustrated, and we will give up very easily. When people start to help others and they start some programs to help people, and we see that sometime some people will recognize our help, and some people appreciate our help, and some people will make use of our help and change their lives. But some may not do that, but that doesn't mean that we should stop helping. If we don't have equanimity, we will stop helping. We will be disappointed. We will give it up. But equanimity is maintaining the evenness of the mind, balance of the mind, and with acceptance of the situation, but is continue to help. That is the great virtue that we can have. And it is like it's give us an stability. It is just like a root of a tree. When a tree is standing tall, it is the roots of the tree that gives its strength. And with branches, the tree can continue to help. With fruits, with flowers, with giving shades, and so continue to help everyone. So the upper part of the tree is moving, helping and giving. Tree is very generous. Always giving most of the time. So we can be like a tree, giving and sharing and being kind, being pleasant to everyone. But we need to have a root, strong roots, to continue to be the tree, continue to benefit others. If you don't have strong roots, we'll be collapsed, and we will not be able to continue to help. So when Buddha talked about loving kindness, compassion, and altruistic joy, he has never talked those qualities without talking about equanimity. Always these four virtues are together, because equanimity is just like the roots of the tree, and the other three qualities are like the branches of the tree. And we continue to be kind to others, we continue to be pleasant to others, we continue to be sensitive to others' suffering and start to help, we continue to rejoice other people's happiness. But then we have to have strong roots, that is like a deep understanding that ultimately everyone is bound to their own karma. We can help them to produce new karma, we can help them to change their bad karma, but ultimately it's their own journey. So have that acceptance, have that deep understanding of the karma, and then understand that our help is always limited, and we shouldn't have fixed expectations, and we should not have uh, we should limit our expectations, and then they have that deep understanding. So then we can maintain the equanimity. So that's one level of equanimity, how we can continue to help. The other type of equanimity is actually in our own personal life, staying in balanced when we are experiencing different situations, circumstances in our life. Buddha talked about 8 vicissitudes in our life, 8 different experiences, we will get in our life. We also call them 8 worldly winds. Our life is not a steady, path. Our life is not always a pleasant path. It's not one single nice, smooth path. Anyone's life is like ups and downs. So the other meaning of equanimity is being able to stay balanced when we are going through different ups and downs in our life. Remember, even when we are up, we need to maintain the balance. Even when we are down, we need to maintain the balance. And so 8 worldly winds, or 8 vicissitudes, they are gains and losses, honor and dishonor, or the reputation or disreputation, and then praises and blames, and then um, the pain and pleasure. So those are the 8 worldly winds that, these 8 things continue to come to us one after the other, and they are completely, opposite experiences that we are having in our life. Gains and losses, two different experiences, and honor and dishonor, or reputation and disreputation, or fame and disfame, and then uh, blames and praises, and then pain and pleasure. So those are usually we when we live our life, we have to go through all these, 8 vicissitudes. Actually, four sets of, experiences. And what usually happen is that whenever we have a gain, when we get a profit, when we uh, get something, earn something a lot, and we feel so joyful, so elated, so happy, and we forget others. And even we forget to be grateful. And then when we experience loss, and in that case we become so disappointed, so depressed, and feel down. In the same way, when we have a great fame, good name, a kind of reputation, we are so elated. And when there's a dishonor, maybe not a good reputation, and then we feel really upset and down. When people praise us, we become so prideful, so proud of ourselves. And then when people blame us, we get so disappointed, so upset, so unhappy. And when you have pain, we really dislike it. We really want to get rid of it. When you have pleasure, or we really like it, we attach to it. This is how generally, we face these 8 worldly winds. But the Buddhists say that, he encouraged us, he gave us guidance, that when we are going through these 8 worldly winds, 8 vicissitudes, don't be fooled by them, and maintain kind of inner balance, whether it is good time, whether it is bad time. Because not only bad time, even the good times can deceive us. When we have gains, we can be blinded to the reality, and we will take things for granted, and then not 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 we will not make best use of what we gain. When people start to praise us, we'll be fooled by, those praises, and we will not pay attention to the weaknesses in our life, like mistakes we do, how I can further improve. We will stop growing when people start to praise us. And so therefore, not only bad times, even good times can fool us. So therefore, Buddha encouraged us to stay balanced in these different situations. So what is the method? What is the technique of to stay balanced when we are going ups and downs in our life? That is to contemplate on impermanence. Remembering the impermanence, remembering that nothing lasts long, and everything's impermanent. Even when we get a gain, a profit, it's not permanent. Even when we have a loss, even a loss is not permanent. It's going to change. When we receive a praise, think about that. It's not going to be permanent. People are not going to praise me forever. Just Remember that. Just contemplate. This is impermanent. This is not. This not going. This will change. And when people start to blame us, criticize us, also remember that that's also not permanent. That's also going to change, and it's not going to last. And when there's a pain in the pain, maybe mental pain, due to something happened recently, or maybe physical pain, just remember it's not going to last long. I mean, maybe stay for a while, but since everything's impermanent, this is not going to be the same, and it will change. When you have pleasure, physical pleasure or mental pleasure, and we can appreciate that, but remember that's going to change. It's not going to be there forever. So we can appreciate it, we can be grateful to that, but don't attach to it. When time comes, it will disappear. We have to just be okay. So contemplating on the impermanence is the method to stay balanced in facing 8 vicissitudes in our life. And I mean, so when we talked about this 8 vicissitudes, 8 worldly winds, Buddha talks about it's like a wheel. If you have a gain, the next will be a loss. If we get a praise, the next will be a blame. And if we have pain, if we have certain pleasure, next will be a pain. But remember, if we get a blame, and next thing will be a praise. And if we get, if we have a loss, and next thing will be a gain. If we have a pain, and next thing will be a pleasure. So, but things are moving like a wheel. That's our life, right? One after the other, one after the other. Of course, certain losses will stay long, but not forever. And at least we can do something to change it. And certain pains, stay long maybe, but not forever. We can change. At least in principle, we can change. Blames, certain blames will be there forever. For some time. But people change. Situation change. And that will change. So understand is a kind of wheel that rotating one after the other, and then having that understanding that these things are impermanent. These things are going to change. And I would like to share a story, at this point that will help you to remember how important it is to contemplate the impermanence when we are going through ups and downs in our life. I have shared this story many times. If you are hearing this for the second time, I hope that you will still enjoy it. And this is a story about 2 brothers who actually equally divided their father's inheritance. And so elder brother and younger brother, they were very friendly towards each other. And so when their father passed away, they divided the inheritance they got from the father evenly to both of them. And one day, younger brother got the father's house. So one day, younger brother found a box. And when he opened that box, he found 2 rings there. 2 rings, and that is an inheritance that was not divided between both of them. So younger brother wanted to reveal that he found this box, and he was genuine, he was honest, and so he told his elder brother, I found this box with 2 rings, and maybe we need to make a decision, to divide this. So, but when they examined the rings, and they came to know that actually one ring is a golden ring. The other ring was a silver ring. It's made from silver. One is made from gold. The other one was made from silver. So it's not equal, right? So how you divide these two equally to 2 parties? So not equal. But then the golden ring was beautiful and nice with nice decorations. But the silver ring is a plain ring, but there was a line ingrained in this ring, few letters, a line. The line says, "This too will pass. This too will pass." That line was ingrained in the ring. So when when the younger brother saw that praise, he thought that, oh, this is such a great message. So he proposed to elder brother, you take the golden ring. I'm okay with that. and please give me the silver ring because I like this praise. And it's okay, I will keep the silver ring, and you take the golden one, which is more valuable one. So elder brother was happy with that, so they divided, these two rings to both of them. So younger brother started to wear that silver ring, which with this line which says, "This too will pass." The elder brother started to wear the golden ring, which is with a lot of decoration. He was happy with that, but there's nothing written there. But he was, very happy with that, valuable thing. And then when they are living their life, they were farmers, and sometimes they get a good harvest with good rains, good weather, and sometimes they get not good harvest, and they get their cultivation, their harvest can be little because of the weather conditions and other situations. So we younger brothers start to like read this, press, this too will pass. So when they get a good harvest and everything works really well, good harvest, then they are very rich. They were able to pay to their workers, and have a good extra. And the elder brother, when he get a good harvest, he was so happy, so, and even he become so prideful. He got such a good harvest. He decided. I mean, he selected the good crops, good type of thing to grow this time. He was happy with his about his decision. He was happy with the kind of things he did during this season cultivation. And and the elder brother was so happy, so elated, and someday even he forget his friends. He becomes so prideful. He start to even look down on others. He look down on other farmers who didn't choose the right crops, and then he like look down on others, ridicule others, and become so prideful. And he take things for granted, and because he has good harvest, and so he becomes so happy and elated, but at the same time he kind of becomes so prideful and ridicule others, look down on others, and become so conceited. But the younger brother, because he has this ring, this too will pass, he always see that. So even when he get a good harvest, he read this too will pass. And therefore he didn't take things for granted. He then, okay, this time I have a good house, but this is not going to last forever, and this is only a one occasion, and I should not like I should not take things for granted. I should save enough harvest. And also he did not become so prideful. He was still kind and humble to everyone, and even sharing with everyone. And he didn't really rely too much on that. He knew that it's going to change. Therefore he didn't take things for granted. He was not prideful. He was kind, and he kind of keep a kind of inner balance. And when in the next season, when the harvest, or next season maybe after, whenever a season the harvest is not that good, they only have a little bit of house, not enough even to pay to workers. The elder brother got really afraid, really frustrated, really angry, unhappy, depressed. He was blaming workers. He's, quarreling with others. Sometimes he blamed himself for making bad choices. He blamed the weather. And he was so frustrated and angry and unhappy. And because he was so prideful when he had good house, and he even didn't get help from his other people, because he was so prideful before. And when he's not having good house, he's in really big trouble. And he himself also doesn't know how to handle it. He feels so depressed. But the younger brother, when he get whenever they he also get not a good harvest, bad time, and he read this too will pass. You contemplate, okay, this time I didn't get a good harvest. Situation is difficult. I cannot even pay to these workers, I have to manage somehow. But this too will pass. And he read that. And he read that, and therefore he developed some courage, some strength. Okay, I will somehow maintain, I will somehow, uh, endure this. And I will gradually work towards to the next season, and things will be changed. So this too will pass because of this contemplation. younger brother was able to kind of stay balanced, keep kind of evenness in the mind, kind of balance the state of the mind because of this contemplation. This too will pass. So that is the technique. We will go through all eight vicissitudes in our life, good times and bad times. But remember, contemplate. Say this word to you: this too will pass. That can help us to move through in our life with certain equipoise, certain level of equanimity in our mind. So that's the method to do that. Okay, so those are the two ways that we can practice equanimity, and we can develop equanimity. The first one is when we help others, when we are kind to others, and maintain some kind of equanimity, not having fixed expectations of our help, and contemplating that everyone is an heir to their own karma. And the next one is maintain balance when we are going through good times and bad times in our life. The method to do it is to contemplate on the impermanence. But then Buddha also talked about quite higher advanced level of equanimity. An advanced level of equanimity is actually something that we develop as a part of our spiritual practice when we are advanced in our path, noble eightfold path, our spiritual path. When we advance in that path, we come to a point that we practice equanimity with regard to our sensory experiences, our sensory data. We have our eye, our ear, our nose, our tongue, and our our body, our skin for our tactile sensations. So for these five senses, we will get pleasant sensory experiences, and we'll also get unpleasant sensory experiences. We will see a beautiful, pleasant thing. We will see an ugly, unpleasant things. We will hear a pleasant thing. We will also hear unpleasant things. We will have pleasant smells. We will have unpleasant smells. Pleasant taste, unpleasant taste. Pleasant touch, unpleasant touches. So our experience are always either pleasant or unpleasant, or sometimes can be neutral too, right? And so usually whenever we have a pleasant experience, we hear a pleasant sound, usually we want to continue it. We attach to it. We want it more and more and more. Whenever we hear an unpleasant sound, we don't want it. We reject it, resist it. We are unhappy with that. We're angry with that. And that's how we react. Same thing with our, pleasant taste, pleasant, whatever, pleasant, unpleasant. So that's how we react to these situations. So the high advanced levels of equanimity is to develop this ability to stay balanced, even in that, in that situation, that whenever we see a pleasant thing or unpleasant thing, pleasant sound or unpleasant sound, and maintain a kind of state of the mind that we are not really moved by those things. We are not being really distracted by those pleasant or unpleasant things that are coming to us. And this is advanced level of equanimity, and we need some meditation training and some growth in our path to have that. But this is a level of equanimity that we all should train our mind. And because we all the time we see pleasant things and unpleasant things, and and also neutral things, we attach to pleasant things and we resist and and develop repulsion towards the unpleasant things, and we ignore the neutral sensation. That's how we live our life. It's more like reactive mode, right? Whenever we see a beautiful, pleasant thing, we react, and we want it more, and we attach to it, we go for it. When we have unpleasant thing here or see, and we try to reject it, we try to get rid of it, and it's more like reacting. But what we can develop as practitioners is actually develop this ability. Whenever we see a pleasant thing and unpleasant things, we recognize the pleasantness, we recognize the unpleasantness, but develop this inner stability, not to be moved by them, and not too much attached to them, and not to have even resistant to unpleasant things. which is difficult. That's not how our mind normally works. But we can grow our mind to that level. How we can do that? Technique for that is actually to on the contemplate on the fact that every sensory experience is a result of all different causes and conditions. And so when we see a pleasant thing, and the reason that we see a pleasant thing is not only because what we are seeing is pleasant. Actually, it's a combination of different factors. Of course, we have. It's also our sensory organ is doing a bigger role in that whole experience. And so when we hear a pleasant sound, we need to understand that whole experience of pleasant sound is actually a result of a lot of causes and conditions coming together. These experiences are constructed experiences, causally produced experiences, and our ear is playing a bigger role in that. We are not really listening to a pleasant sound out there. There are certain sound waves out there. My eardrum is also playing a role to make it a sound and make it a pleasant one. And if I have, and I have to have an ear, if there's changes in my sensory organ, I will not hear the same beautiful sound. If there are any changes in the other condition, I will not hear that sound. Even with the eye, we can see pleasant things, and our experience of pleasant thing is not only that we are seeing a pleasant thing out there. Actually, our eyesight, our ear is also producing these colors, these shapes, and it's a causally produced experience. There should be a right amount of light and so many other conditions. So understanding that any pleasant sense experience we are having, even unpleasant experience we are having, is a production of so many causes and conditions, and our sensory organ is also playing a bigger role in that. And when we contemplate that, we realize that actually these pleasant things and unpleasant things are unreliable. They are causally produced, they are constructed things, and they're not reliable. And there's also certain kind of emptiness to that. It's also kind of, to contemplating on the impermanence, like in earlier practice. But this is like contemplating the impermanence, but at the same time unreliability of these experiences, and also kind of emptiness of these experiences, because these pleasant experiences come to us not because there are pleasant things outside, but actually our sensory organs are also creating these things as pleasant or unpleasant. And so the partly we are constructing those experiences with our sensory organ. So when we realize that, when we have that contemplation, we will not be so much attached to pleasant things. We will not be so much disturbed or be angry with unpleasant things. We'll be able to stay balanced. Okay, recognizing the pleasantness, accepting it, just go through it. Recognize the unpleasantness and accepting it, go through it, not relying too much on them, not giving too much value to those sensory experiences. And that's a higher level of equanimity. When the Buddha and his disciples were practicing meditation, practicing Noble Eightfold Path, they were developing this equanimity, and we all have to develop that equanimity and contemplate. When you see a pleasant thing, unpleasant thing, just remember that these things are constructed, causally produced. There are so many causes and conditions you have to be right to have this experience, so they are not reliable, so we should not trust them too much. We just can go through the pleasant experience and just go through the unpleasant experience, but not trust too much. Don't think that they are stable, and just they are like simply an appearances. It's like a rainbow. You only see it on a particular angle. That's all. A rainbow. We just can enjoy it, just be with it, but don't try to go and grab the rainbow, and have that kind of attitude. And that is equanimity with regard to our sensory experiences. Uh, but at the same time, we also talked about a more deeper level of equanimity, even more deeper level of equanimity that we experience in meditation. When we start to practice meditation, we manage to settle our mind and focus our mind on a wholesome thing, like qualities of the Buddha, loving kindness, or we can maintain we can keep our attention on the breath. And whenever our mind is settled, we experience deeper level of joy, deeper level of physical comfort. We call piti and sukha. It's kind of uplifting experience. It's kind of freedom, because the meditation is kind of joy that we get um, beyond our sensory organs, like kind of inner joy, inner happiness that we'll get as a result of breaking away, moving away from our sensory stimulations. Sensory stimulations are not good, but there are also higher form of happiness that we get. We manage to like settle ourselves and turn our attention inward and settle here without relying on our sensory organs. We kind of transcend our sensory organs and develop inner joy as a result of contemplating on the Buddha, as a result of keep result of maintaining the wishes of loving kindness, or maintaining our attention on the breath. We develop this inner joy and even physical comfort. Our body relaxes, and so we call sukha or pasadi. So we experience those joyful, pleasant experience in meditation. But Buddha said that when we develop our meditation in deeper level of meditation, jhanic level of meditation, and when you go to the higher jhana, and we are supposed to even let go of the joy that we're experiencing inside, and then the physical comfort we're experiencing inside, we kind of let go of them and come to even come to um, come to a level of deeper peace by letting go of even those inner joy and happiness that we get in the meditation. But that's a higher level. First, we need to experience that joy. First, we need to experience that inner happiness, that relaxation, that freedom. But then, at the higher level of meditation, in the jhanic, in the fourth jhana, we even let go of all these pleasures. So that's the highest equanimity, we experience in the fourth jhana. So equanimity is such a virtue that we can start from the very beginning and then go into a deeper and deeper and deeper level. And of course, any when 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 anyone attain enlightenment, they become an arahant, and that great noble person will have equanimity throughout the life, through in each moment. They will maintain that equanimity. That's a primary quality of an enlightened being. But we can start to grow this quality from the initial level, and gradually enhance and deepen this quality. So let me summarize again. So upekha, equanimity, is a great virtue that we all have to develop in our life. So we can develop equanimity in the context of Brahma Viharas, and developing, um, having loving kindness and compassion and altruistic joy to others, but at the same time understanding and maintaining a kind of inner balance, that that we will not change our help, our compassion based on the results. So understanding that our helps are always limited, and then deep understand how we can achieve that balance when we help others, when we take care of our children, how we maintain that equanimity, for fathers, on the Father's Day, even for mothers. This is so important. So it's so important that we develop equanimity. We should not only love our children, we should not only have our compassion towards our children, we also should have equanimity towards them. And that is the looks like most important thing, because equanimity is like accepting those children, accepting their differences, accepting that they have their own karmic potentials and their karmic weaknesses, they are owners their own karma, and accepting this, and then keep helping, but not having fixed expectations. And that is a great quality of being a father and being a mother. And so that is the first one. And even when we help others, have that equanimity, which means that we contemplate that everyone is bound to their karma, and our help is always limited. and we cannot have fixed expectations, but we just continue to help. And the uh, and the second way to practice equanimity is that stay balanced in the ups and downs in our life. We talked about it, and the technique to do it is to contemplate on the impermanence. Just repeat, this too will pass. Just say it, just this too will pass. That will help us to stay balanced, whether we are having good time or a bad time. And then more advanced level of equanimity is like maintain balanced mind, evenness of the mind, even when we're when encountering a pleasant uh, sensation or pleasant, pleasant sight, pleasant sound, pleasant smell, or unpleasant sound, unpleasant sight, or unpleasant smell, even unpleasant taste. Yeah, and then even pleasant taste. Like maintain kind of evenness in the mind, and there's more advanced level of equanimity. When we continue to practice meditation, we will go there. The technique to do it is to contemplate that every pleasant experience is a causally produced experience, and any pleasant thing that we are seeing is not really existing out there. You know, partly we are also constructing that pleasantness in our eye, even the unpleasantness in our eye or in our sensory organ. Understanding that causally produced nature of any sensory experience can help us to have that equanimity in the mind, that we will not develop attachment or repulsion towards them. That's a higher level of equanimity that we all should aspire for. And the last one, or is a kind of deep equanimity that we experience in deeper and deeper level of meditations. So it's like the roots of the trees. It gives us the balance. It's also like the equanimity is also like the ballast. In any ship, there's a ballast tank right at the bottom. The ballast tank can have maybe water, maybe can have heavy metal, because any ship has to have a kind of heavy bottom. If there's no heavy bottom in any ship, it can easily flipped. So it is the heavy bottom ballast tank that keep the ship balanced. It can move a little bit with the wind, with the waves, but it kind of come back to the settled state because of the ballast tank or ballast at the bottom of the ship. So equanimity is like the ballast in a ship, that. But equanimity comes from deep understanding. It doesn't come from our willingness to help others, but it comes from deep understanding of the dharma, deep understanding of the impermanence. More dhamma we know, the more dhamma we know, that more equanimity we will have. But in how we develop this equanimity, contemplating on the karma, contemplating on the impermanence, and contemplating on how we partly produce our own experiences. And having that deep understanding can help us to stay balanced. So that is equanimity. And uh, uh, I remember, when I was attending or listening to Bhante Punnaji, our great teacher. We always miss him. And when he talked about equanimity, he usually translated equanimity as a, uh, a perception, like a perception. It's more like and he etymologically explained this upekha as upa means inward, and ikha means to look inward. So when we look inward, and it's like a perception, like we're not looking outward, but we are looking inward, and that very close looking inward can help us to you know stay balanced, irrespective of what is happening in around us. So upekha, although it's a virtue, it has this element of wisdom, element of looking and seeing. Ikka means to actually see. It's like having a broader view, having a closer view, or having a broader view. When we have a closer view of anything, we kind of come to a deep understanding, and then when we have a larger view, more comprehensive view of anything, we will also stay balanced. It's just like When we see something from above, we get the whole picture. You will not be disturbed by little details of it. So upeka has element of wisdom, element of seeing closely, element of seeing widely. And so we need to have deep understanding to have equanimity. But this is a great quality that help us to live our life without much suffering. But I hope that you will understand these different levels that we can practice equanimity, and it start from whatever level we can. It start from when we are helping someone, when we have compassion towards someone, and develop equanimity, understanding that this is limited. I will not be able to change the whole life of the other person, and accept that it's okay, accept that, accept the karma. And the second one is contemplate on the impermanence, and whenever we are going ups and downs, we just maintain that, maintain the balance, knowing that nothing is going to last, and next time it will be a different experience. So I hope that on this Father's Day, you had some understanding of upekha, equanimity. And as fathers, you really, really, really have to have this equanimity towards your children. And as mothers, you also should have it. That will help you to continue to continue to have a healthy relationships with your children. So I wish you all happy Father's Day, and also wish you a great opportunity, a great time that you will continue to practice equanimity, particularly during this difficult time. So, with that, I will stop my talk here, and maybe if you have any questions, and maybe we can discuss them.
Thank you so much, Bhante, for sharing us the Dharma session tonight. Tonight we have quite a number of questions. Due to the time limitation, we shall pick up fields for Bhante to address it accordingly. I'll put that up.
Okay, Brother Kelvin, thank you for the question. How do you know it is time to stop helping someone? As I think not everyone can be helped, even you still want to help them. Okay, Brother Kelvin, I think the point is here is not really stop helping someone. Maybe uh, you know, of- uh, you know. I think we have to distinguish two things. One is having loving kindness and compassion towards them, and then doing some action to help them. Yes, definitely. I think it's true that we sometimes we cannot change others' life completely, and I think your question is really important. Uh, how can we know when to stop helping? I think um, we should not stop helping. We should not stop like having loving kindness. Maybe we should limit our help. Um, it's a good question. Maybe maybe we start helping others, and not having any fixed expectations, and having loving kindness toward them, keep helping others, and not having any fixed expectation. But when you realize that that's not really so helpful, maybe you can reduce your help, but we can try to help in other ways. When to know it, when to I think that we should not stop helping. Maybe we should just change the way we help. Maybe we should change the frequency that we helped. So I will encourage anyone, like, not like, if you start helping, don't stop helping, but change the way you help. Maybe initially you start to give something, some material things, and maybe it's not really helpful. Maybe some other, maybe just give your time. Yeah, and maybe try to get other friends for this person. So I will encourage you to not to stop, but maybe change the way you help, and even you can maybe reduce the frequency, the amount you help. That will be the best way. um, but just maintain loving kindness. because people will change, and at their own pace. I think the very idea to stop help is having is maybe kind of sign of our disappointment. So I would encourage continue to help, but in different ways, different frequency. Yeah, that will help. Okay, thank you, Dim Up Piao. And is the community an outcome of meditation? Practically, can anyone develop a community only from meditation, or does it come from other means of practice training? Yes, it's a good question. Actually, as I told you, there are different levels of equanimity. More advanced level of equanimity come from meditation. Just like I talk about how we can maintain even mind, even when you are having a pleasant experience and unpleasant experience, like through our sensory experience. For that level of equanimity, we need some meditation practice. For other levels of equanimity, like keep helping others, without, even though things are not happening the way we would like things to be, and then and just maintaining the balance in the ups and downs in our life. For those things, meditation definitely can help with any levels of equanimity, but we can practice equanimity, the initial level of equanimity, if we have certain contemplations of the mind, certain knowledge of the dharma. And really, what's really important for equanimity is reflecting on the dharma, reflecting on the karma, reflecting on the impermanence. These two things can help us to practice equanimity in our normal life. So meditation can help us to advance it by simply reflecting that everyone is heir to their karma and everything is impermanent. Those simple reflections, simple, like, thinking about it, reflection can help us to maintain equanimity. But deeper level of equanimity comes through meditation. Yeah, that is true. That's another question. Yeah, I think Dame Arpio and um, I think I gave the answer to this actually in my talk and also right now. Eight worldly winds. Yeah, I think this question was posed before I explained those things. So how we can develop, equanimity with regard to eight worldly conditions or eight worldly winds, as we call it, is to contemplate the impermanence. Just this too will pass. This too will pass. Whether we are having good time, just reflect on that. Keep in mind when you're having bad time, just keep in mind the method to do it is to reflecting on the impermanence, remembering the impermanence, reflecting on the impermanence. That is the technique. Yes. Okay. Sister Sukam, thank you for the question. When I hear or see certain unpleasant things, I can identify the body reaction and see the feelings, reaction, and process happening in my mind. I look at these reactions, and suddenly the whole process experience stops. I feel calm and practice this method. May I know if I'm doing it correctly? Exactly, Sister Sue. Yeah, this is how we should practice. I think you say I look at these reactions, I observe these reactions. When you see this reaction, I really like that you refer to even the bodily sensations, the way we react to our pleasant experience and unpleasant experience. Not only our mind, it's also our body kind of preparing for it. I'm so glad that you have deep mindfulness even to detect the bodily reaction. And then when you observe it, when you, like, rather than following the mind's reactions, you start to observe the very reaction of the mind and the body, and that very observation helps us to calm things down. And then we can contemplate it. First we observe, and I look into it, observe it, and fully witness what is happening right now. And then as a second step, we can contemplate, oh, this experience is a causally produced experience, and it's causes and condition, dependently arise in experience. It's not fixed, it's not solid. This is dependently arising experience, nothing, no essence there. Just have that secondary contemplation also, that will help you more. Exactly, I'm glad that you are doing it in your day-to-day life, and please continue. This is the correct way. Just add the second one, First, fully observe it, witness it, and look into it deeply, and then at the end contemplate. This is a dependently arising process. No essence is empty, and don't have to take seriously. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Again, another question from Dim. Western psychology often speaks about experiencing out thoughts and feeling and even emotions, but the Buddhist practice of mindfulness and awareness and, in extension, equanimity predominantly does not prescribe that this practice, but in construct, they usually teaches us to let go when these emotions and thoughts, feelings arise. Is this a suppression method or coping or dealing with issues, or is it something different? Since we are not taught to express our emotions as the modern psychology says. Yes, I think this is a very good question, Dim. Brief answer would be expression is one extreme, suppression will be the other extreme. When we're having anger, for example, expressing anger would be like expressing anger in a like blind way, like just throwing things, and hitting something, like a very unmindful blind expression will be one extreme, which is not going to help anyone. And the forceful suppression is another extreme. The Buddhist method is none of it. Buddhist method, you call middle approach, what you call middle path. It's not suppressing actually. It is actually accepting the anger or any other negative emotion, accepting, suppressing it, but of course not blindly expressing it. But let it arise. You accept it and you observe it. You're not going to push it down. You're willing to see it. How this mind is doing all these things, what's happening to the body, but you're not really kind of try to let it spill out from you unmindfully, but you accept it, you embrace it, and then you fully observe it, and then you analyze it if you have enough knowledge, enough Dharma knowledge. And so it's not suppressing, actually it's observing. It's like accepting, observing, accepting, and analyzing. That is the Buddhist method. So it's kind of middle approach to emotions. This is very important practice. That is the most healthy way to deal with emotion. Blind expressions will simply, any emotion, if we continue to express, I mean, sometimes we, even anger, when you after observe it, after analyze it, we can still talk to the person, we can still talk about our displeasure, our disapproval of what the other person did. But we are not really expressing anger there, but we are expressing the our more with a more control sense. We are expressing our disapproval. So expressing disapproval is very different from expressing anger. In the same way, in any other emotions, the Buddhist method is not to like be some completely suppress everything. We observe it and we accept it, we analyze it, and then we take an action, but very mindful, very controlled way. But we are not really expressing emotion in that case. We are explaining something. So it's a middle approach, not blind expressions and not forceful suppression, but observing, accepting, and analyzing it, and then choosing to take actions. So it's a middle path.
All right. Thank you for all the questions from all our audience tonight. And thank you, Bhante, for helping to answer all the questions. Now, let's invite Bhante to conduct Anumodana.
Thank you. Thank you, sister. I'm so glad today to be with our friends on the Father's Day. My greetings to all the fathers and also to all the mothers. I hope that you had a good day today. I hope that you will, remember equanimity as a father's quality, and I hope that you will set some goals to grow your equanimity together with loving kindness and compassion that you have towards your children. I know that we have sympathetic joy. You enjoy their happiness and their successes. You are sensitive to their sufferings. You help them to relieve their suffering. You maintain great love for them. But remember to develop equanimity, accepting the limitations and accepting their own uh, um, uh, preferences in their lives and respecting their individual differences and develop some level of acceptance and equanimity. So I wish all the fathers and also mothers to continue to grow your equanimity. That will help you to keep your relationship with your children very smooth and healthy. So with that wish, let us share the merits. Today, especially after hearing this Dhamma talk on the Father's Day, let us think about our departed fathers, our departed even mothers, but the parents, and think about them. I mean, all our great fathers who passed away, even our biological fathers, and also other father figures in our life. Let's think about them and those great people who help us so much, who had great compassion towards us. Let us think about them and let us share these merits with all of them. May all of our departed fathers share these merits. May they be benefited from these merits. May they continue their journey towards the enlightenment. May all other departed mothers and all other departed relatives, may they all share these merits. May they be well, happy, and peaceful wherever they may be. Idang mi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idang mi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idang mi ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Let us also share these merits with all other living beings, with all the divine beings or the devas and all other living beings. May all living beings share these merits, and may they also have an opportunity to listen to the Dhamma and grow their spiritual practice with the Dhamma. May all living beings share our merits. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Ettavata ca amhi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya.
Thank you, Bhante. On behalf of the monk and management of Mahavihara, we would like to thank Bhante for his time and sharing his Dharma knowledge with us. We would also like to express our gratitude to all our sponsors for their kind donations and all our audience for joining us tonight. Good night, everyone, and once again, happy Father's Day and have a pleasant evening. Sukhe Hantu.